Hello, everybody. Welcome to Weekly Market News. Today is Monday, 16th of November, and we have experienced quite an interesting week on stock markets as Monday's session last week was very interesting, and the rest of the week was kind of a choppy. Uh, as we are starting the new week, the events that came to the markets from weekend also pushed the stock markets up a little bit. So let's look at the markets. Let's look at what happened last week and what happened over the weekend. If we are looking at the S&P 500 and basically other stock indices, we're experiencing some kind of weird movement of money flow from technological stocks to more cyclical stocks and more the COVID stocks, if you want. Basically, stocks like airlines, cruise ships, automobiles, they were under huge buying pressure, gaining basically double-digit percentage over one session. You can see right here the Monday session, which was the most volatile from all of the sessions last week. You could see the rest of the week was quite choppy. The reason for the Monday big volatility was the news that the company Pfizer with BioNTech, so Germany plus UK companies, came up with the report that their vaccine is more than 90% effective, which is much more than anybody has ever anticipated that the vaccine can really be that effective. So huge news for basically the stocks that were under heavy pressure during the pandemic, and as well as technological stocks that were gaining from the pandemic, that were stable, were able to find way to profits even during the pandemic, were under some short-term selling pressure, but in the near term they recovered, bounced back. You can see Nasdaq on 4-hour time frame. There was some selling pressure on Monday and Tuesday. On Wednesday, we could have seen some steady and slow gains that were on the market until the Friday and also Monday open. So the vaccine, the news about the vaccine that were hugely affected the markets. You can see the rest of the session was quite choppy. That's because other central bankers like Christine Lagarde, Jeremy Powell were basically calming down the optimism about the vaccine, that it will take several months, several weeks to months until the vaccine gets approved, it gets delivered, it gets effective, it gets delivered to everybody that really needs it. So basically, the buying activity that was seen at the stocks, at the cyclical stocks, was probably too much of optimism over there. You know that there's still the pandemic, the cases are still rising in the U.S. You can see. We can look basically at the coronavirus stats in the United States, and then Europe. Obviously, there are several countries there in lockdown. The same thing is probably in danger in the US, where several states are coming back to some kind of restrictions. You can see Friday was 187,000, so nearly 2,000 cases in one day. Obviously, Sunday is one of the lowest days because there's less testing, but we're probably going to see another steep rise of cases in the United States, which can brought another restrictions, and this can rattle the market. As well as Donald Trump. Donald Trump firstly, finally, officially admitted that Joe Biden has won the elections, but then he turned back, said that it was a fraud, and we can expect some legal actions from Trump administrations this week. So this can also rattle the markets. But as we are speaking about the markets, about the stock markets this week, and basically the Monday session, as we are speaking right now, there is some huge news that over the weekend there was a trade deal, signed and approved by Asian Pacific countries called RCEP. This is the fourth largest trading bloc, obviously without United States. Excludes United States. They withdrew from the Asia Pacific Trade Pact in 2017 with Donald Trump. We will see maybe Joe Biden wants to go back to this, which would obviously push markets and help the markets in the long term. But as you are speaking right now, obviously this is a very big news for mostly Asian stock markets, not really the United States, but you could see the Monday on the futures markets was quite positive. We open up with the buying gap, continue the surge, and right now we are going basically sideways near. If we look at daily time frame, we are still over the previous record high. So this record high is the record high, but the current price is over the previous record high, which is obviously a very strong and positive news for stock markets. But at the same time, this is quite a warning sign because how is this saying at the stock markets? Buy the rumors and sell the news. This is basically what could happen with the vaccine, that the vaccine can be delivered, but it's probably not going to be delivered that fast to help the segments of the economy that are hit the most. The first people that will get are people like medics in hospitals, etc. So that's where the vaccine will take the place first, and this will be nearest in the beginning of the next year. So that's the major news over the weekend. Other markets last week basically were, again, everything was influenced by the news about the vaccine. So DAX opened up a little higher, went up, then went sideways for the rest of the week. Euro USD was quite volatile last week, went below 118, a touch 117, currently is again above 118. So quite choppy for since the beginning of maybe September. Not really having a huge trend here. Everything is based on the moves about the US dollar. How is the risk on risk off sentiment moving the markets? If we look at the oil market, obviously also hugely influenced by the news about the vaccine. The oil was able to rise above 42, even touched $43 a barrel when it retreated. Didn't find any more buyers. And again, we are talking about the same thing over and over. $40 a barrel. It's probably the magnet price for oil as currently we are speaking. Like I said, the pandemic is hugely affecting the demand and the supply. We are probably going to see the extension of current production cuts over the next 3 to 6 months from the beginning of next year. So this will be again quite important thing for the market to stabilize basically mainly the price, which again we don't really see it going any further above $40 or deeper below $40 a barrel. Brexit news are dragging into the next week. So again, we were not able to see any significant news last week as the negotiations continue. This week they will take place in Brussels. We will have to wait for some other for some news that will tell us if we are going another week or we might get some type of agreement maybe this week. We will have to see and wait what's going to happen. Last but not least, let's look at the gold market, which finally wasn't only influenced by the US dollar, but also by the risk on, risk off sentiment. The Monday session, if we look at the 4-hour time frame, the Monday session pushed gold back below 1900, which is the key level for oil, for gold, and still probably will be in the coming sessions. 1900, like I said, it was not influenced by US dollar. Basically, US dollar didn't even move much based on the news about the vaccine, but moved where we were able to see some moves was mainly Japanese yen, Swiss franc, and gold. They all fell based on the news about the vaccine and the risk that basically vanished from the markets for one trading session. And right now we can see a choppy sessions similarly to US stock indices and European stock indices last week. So this is what happened in the markets last week. Again, pandemic and surging cases across the world will take effect and will influence the markets in the coming weeks and days. But as we are speaking about the macroeconomic news for this week, it's not that rich, but let's look anyway. On Tuesday, we have retail sales in the US. Then we have Christine Lagarde, several speeches by ECB President Christine Lagarde. Then BOC, so Bank of Canada governor, will have speech on Tuesday as well. On Wednesday, we have several data from UK. Then of course CPI, so inflations from Euro. This should not affect the markets, and it probably will not. Also inflation from Canada, building permits from US. So really just the secondary data right now. It should not affect the markets. If you're trading, let's say 30-minute, 1-hour time frame, you would have to be trading 1 minute, 5-minute time frame to see some effects of these news. On Thursday, we have EU Leaders Summit, so this is very important. This can, again, set the tone for another round of negotiations about the Brexit deal. Like I said, another speech by Christine Lagarde, another speech by Christine Lagarde. From US, we have another housing data. And on Friday, we have some data from UK retail sales, another speech from ECB, and from UK we should have another retail sales. So this is not a very rich week for the macroeconomic news. But like I said, we will be closely watching this. The surging cases in the US where there were not set any federal restrictions yet. There are only state-based by. So if there will be any, it will be huge news and maybe potentially huge downside risk for stock market. So this will be it for today's video. I hope you guys enjoyed. If you have any comments, leave it down below the video on the comment section, and I will see you next week.